Well, what's going on, guys? It's Mr. Affleck 9916, and welcome back to another episode of Euro Truck Simulator 2. We are here in Norway, about to do a evening drive. As you can see, we are in Kristiansand, and we're going to head up to Oslo. So our last delivery, we did this, and I realized that our destination point, it was Oslo, but the game didn't let us choose Oslo, so I'm going to start here because this is just as close to this as this to this. So either way, we're backtracking, and then we'll actually get to go to Oslo and complete that. So that's going to be our route for today. Take a look at our truck. And I believe it's the DAF, I think? Or is it the, no, it's the Renault, I think. It's in the Renault. And we got some lumber. So at the lumber yard, go ahead and get this engine start to head up. And there we go, there's the lights. Go ahead, hop in, get those windshield wipers off, put it up into drive, and let's get out of here. It has been a while since I've played, and I gotta be honest, I can hardly remember half of the half the controls that I set. But I hope you guys are all having a good Sunday afternoon. It's been a long week for me. I actually I went home last weekend, as I mentioned in the last few episodes, which I recorded ahead of time, and I ended up staying all the way until Wednesday, or until Thursday actually, and then I drove back to Ohio on Thursday, had one day of class, didn't have any class on Friday, so I'm here for a 3-day weekend, and then I'm here until Tuesday, and then I'm going back to Pittsburgh on Tuesday evening, where I'll be home for Thanksgiving, and I'll be home for almost another week. So lots of time for me kind of going back and forth between Ohio and between Pittsburgh. And then, of course, after Thanksgiving, it's only 3 weeks, and then it'll be time for Christmas break, so I'll be back yet again. I did realize what happened to this mod, and what happened to the mod is that it's a realistic sunset mod, and whoever runs the mod updated it for this time of year, so it will now accurately have the sunset earlier because it's essentially almost winter time. And I'm going to be adding the winter mod soon. I think after we get up and explore more of Norway, once we get to Oslo, I'm going to start heading south because I want to get to Italy and France. We'll keep the winter mod off for that. But then once Beyond the Baltic Sea comes out and I head up to there, I think we'll do it with the actual winter mod, and that'll be kind of fun. If, of course, the winter mod works with the new update, but we'll see. It all depends on when it comes out and where I am driving at this point. I know by New Year's I'll definitely turn the winter mod on when I ultimately turn pro mods on as well. But that's the update for why that has been this way. And the other update I wanted to get into relating to the channel was regarding the NHL series. I recorded the first 2 episodes of the series, but unfortunately, oh man, don't want to get a speeding ticket going through there. These speed limits can weirdly drop on some of these back roads. It's very strange. You gotta really watch where you're driving. But anyway, regarding all of this NHL stuff, I recorded the first 2 episodes. There's been a problem with the video file. It's so large. For some reason, iMovie is not really processing it properly. I put it into iMovie and it's there, but it's so incredibly laggy I can't even edit down the clip. So I think what I'm going to do is just start from scratch. I'm not going to start over the series because it took me forever to do the expansion draft. So I'm going to, and it took me forever to create my team as well. So I'm going to, I've already played 2 games. I have those clips saved, which I'll try to still show the footage from that. But in the first episode, I'll just kind of go through my team, go through who I created. It won't be the perfect start to the series, but I just can't work with this file because it hasn't been working. So expect that. I'll probably try to record it before I go home, and then I'll upload the video sometime over Thanksgiving weekend. So expect that in about a week's time. And of course, it's been a bit of a few days between our Euro Truck videos, but I'm going to record a couple to upload over the Thanksgiving weekend, and I'll get those ahead, or I'll get those up in time. Probably, I know I won't upload on Thanksgiving Day, but I will upload probably on Friday, and then I'll probably put one up on Sunday, and I'll have one for Wednesday. So I'll record 3 videos ahead of time to put up over the weekend, and then once I come back, I'll be good to go for a few weeks before Christmas. So that's kind of the channel updates. But other than that, I guess I'll just kind of talk a little bit about what I've been up to the last week. When I was home in Pittsburgh, I had a weird thing happen. So I was laying in bed one night, I was on my phone, and I was laying on my left side, and I went to get up to, move the position in which I was sitting, and I had a horrible pain in my shoulder, on the left shoulder, and up into my left neck a little bit. And I'm not kidding when I say this, it was possibly the most painful thing that I've ever felt before. This is a cool bridge, by the way. Good thing we don't have a extra large loads. We won't get stuck on the bridge like we did in the last episode. But anyway, it was a really weird pain, and it took about 4 or 5 days to completely go away. It's gone now, but to be honest, it was the weirdest thing I've probably ever encountered, because it came on all of a sudden, and I don't know if I pinched something from the way I was sitting, if I pulled a muscle, but I just gave myself this stiff neck, and it was incredibly painful. And again, the weird thing is that I don't even know how I got it. I don't even know exactly what caused it, other than just sitting in that position for a little bit. So that was kind of weird. I know injuries are kind of a weird thing. Oh, do we have a toll booth up here? Yes, we do. I should have gone to the right and gone through the automatic toll booth. And it's gonna rain. Everything's coming on this Wednesday evening. Alrighty. Be cool if they added to the game where the toll person was actually there. Toll man or woman was actually there, and you actually could open your window and pay the toll. I think that would be a cool thing to add to the game. I just thought of that as I was going through. Alright, these guys gotta merge, so nobody cut me off here. Yeah, this guy's going to. Oh! Jeez. Whew. That was a boneheaded move from that guy. Unbelievable. That's annoying. Alright, we'll go ahead and get over. Thank you for not cutting me off like that guy did. What a rude move. I ran into a guy doing that today in real life. I was driving down State Street, which is one of the it's like the main street in the town that I live in terms of like it's like the commercial district. It's where all the grocery stores and car dealers and Walmart, and it's where all that kind of stuff is. So it's 2 lanes on each side of the road, and it's a heavily traveled road. And there's this guy in a pickup truck, and he was weaving in and out of traffic. He cut me off, and he was just gone before I even had a chance to react. Obviously, I didn't get a look at him, so I mean, who knows? Maybe it wasn't even a guy, but this person ended up. I saw them pull off, and they went to drive through Burger King, and it was very dangerous. It was like they could have caused an accident, because they were literally going probably 40, 50 miles an hour. The speed limit was 25 on this road. And they were weaving in and out of cars who were going, 25 or 30, basically around the speed limit, and it was really dangerous. So, and wow, listen to that rain. I know that they're gonna update. I heard in the new update they're gonna update the rain. I think it's only in beta right now, though. I just have my headset turned up a little louder than normal. I think apparently the rain's also gonna react better on the windshield. So they're gonna add some sort of realistic rain, and maybe this is it. I don't know. It's one of those things I've never paid a ton of attention to the rain before, because I've always thought it wasn't too bad. But I guess we'll see once the next update comes up if the rain changes. And look at that, trash on the side of the road. My goodness. My gosh, that's a weird random event to have right there. Stuff spilled on the middle of the road. Anyway, back to what I was talking about. The second most painful, or debatably the most painful thing I ever had, was when I was about 12 years old. I was in West Virginia with my family on vacation, and I was on this. It's basically, imagine snow tubing, but it's in the summertime. So they have a tarp that they lay down. It's not really a tarp. I don't know how to explain it. It's like a green mesh, and they lay it down on the mountainside, and you basically get in the snow tube at the top. And I guess it's slightly different than a snow tube, because the bottom has a little bit of a different material on it. and you slide down the mountain, and then at the end it's flat, and if you slow down, and if you're going so fast, there's a bunch of like big, soft, basically beanbag type things, and they're humongous. They're like 12 feet tall, and you'll run into those if you're going too fast. And obviously, it is harmless, and it'll absorb the impact. So I got to the top, and in order to keep this working, they had to use some sort of grease to keep the sleds actually going down the hillside, because without the grease, it's still, even with all the fancy materials that they used, it still wouldn't work without the grease. So I get up. They had an ATV that would take you up. You get on the bottom, and basically they would hook your snow tube up to this ATV, and then they'd pull you up the mountainside and you'd be connected via a rope to the back of this ATV, and they'd go straight up the hill. And so I get to the top. The guy unhooks my snow tube. I feel weird calling it a snow tube because it's not snow, but whatever you want to call it. He unhooks the tube, and I grab it. I walk over, and the moment I step from the grass and the dirt onto the actual surface, my feet slide out from under me immediately, and I go down hard, right on my hip. And I'm pretty fast. Most people that know me in person know that I am incredibly fast at reactions. That's the one physical ability I actually am quite good at. I'm that guy if someone makes a motion at me, I will flinch more than you can imagine. And wow, the rain didn't stop. Okay, that's where they need to make the rain more realistic. They need to still show it falling when you're under the toll booth. I couldn't even see it coming down, but I guess it is kind of lightening up right now, so maybe it's going away. But anyway, I went down so hard on my hip, and it hurt so bad. I was just frozen for about, I don't know, 15 minutes, just sitting there. And my mom was up there, and the guys were up there that were working the tube. And they even offered, they said, do you need us to call an ambulance? And I was trying to tough it out. So I didn't want to, I didn't want to go to the hospital if I didn't need to. So I said, no, I'm all right. You don't need to call an ambulance. Just give me a minute. So after about 15 minutes, I got in my tube. I slid down the hill, and I remember sitting on a bench, and I just kind of sat there and talked to my mother for like 2 hours while my siblings were still going up and down the hill. And eventually, as the day went on, the pain kind of got less and less, but I would say it hurt consistently for a couple weeks. I mean, every single day for about 2 weeks there was pain, and there was pain on and off for about probably a year, to be honest, which is hard to believe because that's a long time to still feel pain from something. But 1 year after all of this happened, I could still... Let's turn these windshield wipers off. It has stopped raining. There we go. About a year after it happened, I could still occasionally feel pain in my hip. Luckily, it's not there anymore. But if I had to guess, I would say that I fractured it, or in one way or another, I gave myself a quite nasty injury to my hip. I had to bruise the bone or put a dent in the bone or something like that. I doubt I broke it because I wouldn't have been able to walk, and it probably would have hurt 10 times worse. But it was painful. It was painful when I fell, and that's my story of the most painful thing I've ever felt. I've been lucky to I've never broken a bone. I've never gotten a cavity when I go to the dentist, so that's good. I know most people have done both of those things, sometimes on multiple occasions. So I've been very lucky to never do that. Especially, I mean, I've always taken care of my teeth. I never ate a ton of candy when I was a kid. I just didn't like hard candy. It was too sweet for me. I preferred to eat chocolate. So I think that I preferred chocolate and ice cream probably prevented my teeth from completely falling apart. Let's try to get in after this truck here. And we're good. Okay. You gotta time those freeway entrances right, or else you're gonna be in trouble. But anyway, I didn't like hard candy, so that probably preserved my teeth when I was a kid. and so it makes sense that I never got a cavity. But never breaking a bone, I have to chalk that up to luck. I played basketball for 9 years when I was a kid, and basketball has a very high rate of broken limbs, broken arms, broken legs, because people run into each other, people fall, people trip each other by accident. You get hit by somebody else, you get hit by the ball, you get elbowed. There's plenty of things. Anyone who's played basketball that's listening to this knows exactly what I'm talking about. There's plenty of ways in which you can break a bone doing basketball. I did injure my finger once, but they said that I tore cartilage and I only had to wear a splint for like 3 or 4 days. So that wasn't too bad. That hurt when that happened, but I was having a really good game, and the other team was not very good, and I was too stubborn to come out of the game. So I stayed in for the rest of the game, and I think that was the most points that I ever scored in a game. I think I scored like 18 or 20 points, which you only got in the league I played in. It was a church league, and there were, let's see, how many, I think you only got 18 minutes of court time per game, because they made everyone play the same amount. So that's basically like a basket every 2 minutes, which is nothing super good, but that's definitely like, oh, you're not bad if you're having a game like that. And usually I was more of a defensive player. They gave out stars after the game for most sportsmanlike and best offense, best passing, best shooting. And there was a star, I think it was the red star, and it was best defense. And I remember one season, every single game, there were 8 games in a season, and one season, every single game, I got the best defense star, because that's basically, I was horrible at shooting the ball. I couldn't do it for the life of me. But defense, I was fantastic at defense. So that was kind of my strong point. I was able to outsmart the other players, and I was good at setting up plays too. I was good at I liked when my team would advance with the ball, I liked to be the one that had the ball at the beginning, not the one who ended up shooting it into the net. I liked to have the ball before the play, and that way I could kind of design the play to my liking, and I could pass it to whoever was open, and there's nothing more satisfying to me than your team makes a great play, you get a basket, and I think, oh, I was the mastermind behind it. I set this. I don't have the skills to execute it. I don't have the skills to shoot it like that, but at least I have the basketball mind to actually make a play like that. So that's where I was kind of best. My skills were more the mental side of the game, because I've never been a super athletic person. I mean, I'm okay at golf, but with basketball, I was definitely better. I mean, I was good at defense with the physical stuff, but on offense, my only ability was really more on the mental side of the game, creating plays and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, I got a little off topic. Not that that's a bad thing. That means I'm having good things to talk about. But let this guy in, or not. I moved over to let him get in, and he didn't listen. I'm just trying to be nice to people, and they're not even helping me out. Unbelievable. Whatever. Anyway, that was kind of my deal with injuries. Those were the 3 main injuries I've ever got, but I'm very lucky to never broken a bone. That's what I was talking about. I've never broken a bone, and I'm very, very lucky to never have done that. Let's try the automatic toll booths now. Like I don't know what you call it in Auto Pass, I guess it's what it's called here in Norway. It's called Easy Pass in the United States, at least the part of the country that I live in, the eastern U.S. And it's on all the turnpikes in the eastern U.S., which are our word for toll roads out here. I don't have one on my car because I don't travel on toll roads a lot. The commute that I do between Ohio and Pittsburgh, there's no toll roads. There's a toll road that goes from PA to Ohio, but it's up north. I live in the southern parts of the 2 states, so I'm from Southwest PA. I live in Southeast Ohio, so I stay away from those roads. Fortunately, I don't have to worry about paying tolls. Paying for gas is already bad enough. But anyway, I'm very lucky, never break a bone because of all the basketball that I did. I guess there's nothing really else where I could have broken one. I mean, I played flag football for 2 years, but it was only flag football, so there was no tackling, and I guess you still could break one, but it's more unlikely. other than basketball, the main sport I played growing up, and I still play a lot now, is golf. I've always played that game since I was about 3, and it's pretty hard to break a bone in golf. You can get things like tendonitis, you can tear ligaments, there's still injuries that are associated with golf, and if you play enough, it's going to happen eventually. But to actually break a bone playing golf, I don't really know how that's possible. I think you would have to like trip and fall and hit your arm on a rock or something like that, which is just not, like, that's probably happened twice in the history of the game. So I guess my choice of sport prevented me from that. And the other good thing about playing golf and basketball is that I never got a concussion either, because I know a lot of people who play soccer, or especially kids who play football, but also hockey, who have concussions, and those are not something you want to mess with. I'm just very fortunate that the sports that I was interested in weren't concussion sports. I never wanted to play football, I never wanted to play hockey, and I kind of wanted to play baseball, but I was more prioritized on golf, so I never did play baseball. So I guess just out of luck, the sports that I chose to play, there wasn't really much of a risk of concussions. So that kind of kept me away from that. And I wasn't too clumsy as a kid either. I always would drop things a lot when I was a kid. I was clumsy in that way. You couldn't trust me to hold anything, because I would definitely drop it. Even today, I can't tell you how often I drop my phone. If I didn't have I got a new phone when I went home last weekend. I got the new iPhone XS. I've already dropped it 3 times. But luckily I have a good case. I have a leather case that I got at Apple. It's actually really nice. It's got like a green leather on it. It looks really cool. And I'm hoping that it won't show dirt as much as my old case, which was clear, and that thing showed a ton of dirt, and it looked kind of gross when I got rid of the phone. But either way, I was so clumsy with dropping stuff, but luckily I wasn't clumsy with injuring myself. I mean, every kid has stubbed their toe a few times when they were 8 years old. I did that a fair share of times, but I wouldn't say I was particularly clumsy. I was kind of the opposite of that, if anything. I always was, able to not get hurt. Maybe I can chalk it up to my quick reactions or something like that. I don't know. Alright guys, here we are, Oslo. For the second episode in a row, we arrive in Oslo, but hopefully this time it'll say city discovered and we'll actually be able to make this delivery, because that was really frustrating last time. I don't want that to happen again, or else I'm going to be ticked. So hopefully when we make a right here and we get over this bridge, it'll say Oslo discovered. That was a scenic drive. That's the other thing I was going to say. I found a new mod, and I forgot to install it before the video. And it makes the night times even darker, so it's more realistic. You can't see all of that. I mean, the moon is kind of lighting things up, but you won't be able to see the clouds like this, and the nighttime will just be a little darker. It'll be more realistic, essentially. It doesn't look too bad now because we're in a city, but when you're in the countryside, you don't want to be able to see, especially if it's real rural, you don't want to be able to see the hills unless the moon is really bright. And, I can speak from experience. Whenever I leave, yes, Oslo discovered, there it is. All right, now we can actually take our next delivery out of Oslo. So I'm happy about that. But either way, I'm going to install it for the next episode. And it'll make those night times just a little bit darker, just a little bit more realistic, because I can attest in rural areas where I live in Ohio, when you leave the town that I'm in and you drive on the highway, sometimes it is shocking how dark it is, especially because I'm used to living in the city. I every time I even go home, I grew up in the suburbs. Every time I go home and sleep at my parents' house, I am amazed. I mean, I still have a bedroom there, so it's still kind of my house, but every time I go back, I am amazed how dark it is at nighttime compared to where I live now, which is whoa. That is going to hit that stop sign. Let's back up and try that again. Wow. That is no good. Alright. Put it back into drive. Let's pull up more. Oh, am I gonna hit this now? Oh, we're on the curb. Alright, we cut it close, but we made it. We're good. Alright, that was better. Good thing I didn't mess up like I've been messing up a lot recently. I actually did it properly. Another good old building site here. Just like the one in Stockholm. I feel like I'm back in Stockholm. This is exactly like the one there. But I guess it's going to be some sort of a wood frame building because we got a lot of lumber on this truck for their little delivery. I do think they're updating the truck physics in the next update as well.